The grand ballroom at the Fairmont shimmered with expensive decorations celebrating my mother's retirement as CFO of Mitchell Industries. Crystal champagne flutes clinked as Silicon Valley's elite celebrated her 30-year career in finance. I adjusted my simple navy dress, watching my sister Catherine work the room in her designer gown. She'd followed Mom's footsteps perfectly: Stanford MBA, fast-tracked to executive status, married to the company's general counsel. Grace. Catherine's voice dripped condescension as she spotted me. The staff table is over there, with the other workers. I smiled slightly, thinking of the Aurora Foundation's headquarters towering over downtown San Francisco. I have an invitation, Catherine. Only because Mom's assistant felt obligated to include all family. She wrinkled her nose. Even those who work at, what do you call it? A charitable foundation. My phone buzzed. Another update about Mitchell Industries' imminent collapse. Their stock had dropped 60% this month alone. Only my foundation's bailout could save them now. Still playing at philanthropy? Mom appeared, champagne in hand. While your sister manages billions in corporate finance? I manage assets too, Mom, I said quietly. Donations and handouts aren't assets, dear. She sighed. If only you'd joined the corporate world like Catherine. Sit with the other workers, Catherine ordered, gesturing to a back table where the catering staff gathered. We can't have people thinking you're part of the executive circle. I checked my phone again. A message from my CFO, Mitchell Industries board-approved emergency meeting. Bankruptcy imminent without Aurora Foundation intervention. The staff table suits you, Mom added. At least you're honest about your position in life. I thought of my foundation's $8 billion endowment, carefully built through strategic investments and technology patents. You'd be surprised about my position. Catherine smirked. Still dreaming big? While I handle real money. The irony was delicious. Her real money company was hours away from bankruptcy, while my foundation held their only hope of survival. Catherine handles billion-dollar portfolios, Mom bragged to nearby executives. While Grace plays with charity cases. My phone lit up with an urgent message. Board chairman en route. Emergency intervention required now. I took my assigned seat at the staff table, watching the oblivious celebrations. The waiters and kitchen staff greeted me warmly. They'd seen enough wealthy executives to appreciate quiet kindness. The ballroom doors burst open. Edward Chin, Mitchell Industries board chairman, rushed in, face flushed with panic. The Aurora Foundation CEO, he announced breathlessly. Are they here? We need them immediately. The room fell silent. Catherine's champagne glass froze halfway to her lips. The bailout, Chin continued urgently. Aurora Foundation is our only hope of avoiding bankruptcy. I stood slowly from the staff table, smoothing my simple dress. Shall we begin, Mr. Chin? Mom's glass shattered on the marble floor. Catherine's perfectly made-up face went pale. You, she whispered. You're the CEO they've been negotiating with. Aurora Foundation, I smiled slightly. $8 billion in assets. Though I suppose that's just handouts and donations. Impossible, Mom stammered. You run a charitable organization. The most powerful philanthropic foundation in tech, Chin corrected. Ms. Mitchell's organization holds patents that could save our company. The room erupted in whispers. Executives who'd ignored me all evening suddenly struggled to catch my eye. The bailout terms, I said calmly, opening my laptop. Full restructuring. New board majority. And a complete overhaul of corporate culture. Anything, Chin agreed quickly. The paperwork is ready. I pulled out a folder. Though you might want to read the ethics requirements carefully. Things are going to change at Mitchell Industries. You can't do this, Catherine protested weakly. This is Mom's retirement party. Yes, I agreed. Perfect timing to announce new leadership, don't you think? Unless you'd prefer bankruptcy. The color drained from her face as she realized her powerlessness. Now, I addressed the stunned room. Who's ready to discuss how real money can make real change? The ethics requirements are non-negotiable, I continued, my voice carrying across the now silent ballroom. Equal pay policies, environmental standards, and a complete revision of executive compensation. But the bonuses? Catherine started. will be redirected to employee benefits and sustainable initiatives, I finished. The days of golden parachutes while workers struggle are over. My phone buzzed again. Mitchell Industries stock had dropped another 10% in after-hours trading. Time was running out. Mr. Chin, I addressed the chairman. Your company has exactly 1 hour before the Asian markets open. Without Aurora Foundation's intervention, Mitchell Industries won't survive the week. Mom found her voice at last. All these years, while we mocked your charity work, I was building the largest tech-focused foundation in the world. I nodded. Funny how appearances can deceive. Catherine's husband, the general counsel, frantically flipped through the bailout terms. These conditions, they're revolutionary. That's the point, I replied. Mitchell Industries will become a model of corporate responsibility. Or it can become a cautionary tale in bankruptcy court. Your choice. The staff table, my assigned seat for the evening, had the perfect view of my family's crumbling empire. The waiters tried to hide their smiles, having witnessed countless instances of my family's condescension. The foundation's assets. Mom whispered, mental calculations finally clicking. $8 billion. Makes your corporate portfolios look rather small, doesn't it? I smiled slightly. Amazing what one can accomplish with a focus on actual impact instead of status. Chen's tablet pinged with urgent notifications. Asian investors are pulling out. We need to announce the bailout now. Then I suggest, I stood gathering my materials, we move this to the boardroom. Unless you'd prefer I conduct business from the staff table? The room erupted in motion, executives scrambling to follow, my family frozen in shock, the catering staff offering quiet congratulations as I passed. Grace, Catherine called out desperately. We're family. I paused at the door. Family? Funny how that only matters now that you need my help. Mr. Chin, shall we begin the real work? As I walked out, leaving chaos in my wake, I heard Mom whisper, our daughter, the most powerful person in the room. The Fairmont's executive boardroom crackled with tension as I laid out Aurora Foundation's terms. Gone were the retirement party pleasantries, replaced by the harsh reality of corporate survival. These conditions are impossible, Catherine protested, her designer dress suddenly looking like expensive armor. A 90% cut to executive compensation? Worker representation on the board. Completely possible, I replied calmly, pulling up financial projections on the room's display. Your current executive team costs $50 million annually in salaries and bonuses. That money could fund healthcare for every employee. Mr. Chin mopped his forehead with a handkerchief. The Asian markets open in 40 minutes. Without Aurora's bailout, Mitchell Industries collapses, I finished. Taking your careers, reputations, and golden parachutes with it. Mom sat silent, her retirement party tiara looking suddenly ridiculous. Her phone kept buzzing with concerned messages from guests still in the ballroom. The foundation's requirements are non-negotiable, I continued. Full transparency, environmental accountability, and immediate implementation of the worker protection policies. You'd destroy everything we built, Catherine whispered. No, I corrected, I'm saving what you nearly destroyed. Mitchell Industries was founded to innovate technology, not enrich executives. My phone lit up with another urgent message, stock dropping further. Asian investors demanding answers. Your charitable foundation, Mom finally spoke, her voice unsteady, has more power than our entire corporate board? Aurora Foundation holds patents that could revolutionize clean energy, I explained. Patents your company desperately needs, along with our $8 billion in liquid assets. Catherine's husband, Tom, the general counsel, studied the documents with growing alarm. These terms, they're bulletproof. You've been planning this. For years, I acknowledged. While you were all laughing at my little charity work, I was building the leverage to force real change. My assistant entered with fresh documents. The press release is ready and the major networks are standing by. Time to decide, I addressed the room. Accept Aurora Foundation's terms for a complete corporate restructuring, or face bankruptcy by morning. And our positions? Catherine asked weakly. Will be evaluated based on merit, not family connections. I smiled slightly. Though I hear the staff cafeteria is hiring. The room erupted in protests and negotiations, but I held firm. Through my tablet, I watched Mitchell Industries stock continue its death spiral. 10 minutes, I announced. Before I walk away and let the company fail. Mr. Chin broke first. We accept. God help us, we accept everything. Sign here. I pushed the documents forward. And Catherine, you might want to clean out your office tonight. The new worker-led board might not appreciate your management style. As they signed away their corporate kingdom, Mom finally found her voice again. How did we not see this coming? You saw what you wanted to see, I replied. A daughter playing at charity while the real business people ran things. Your mistake. My phone buzzed with confirmation. The press release was going live. Around the table, phones began pinging with notifications. Breaking news. Aurora Foundation saves Mitchell Industries in revolutionary bailout deal. I stood, smoothing my simple dress. The reporters are waiting outside. Try to look grateful. It'll help the stock price. Grace, Catherine called out desperately. What happens now? Now. I turned back. Now Mitchell Industries becomes what it should have been all along. A company that values people over profits. And you? I smiled without warmth. You get to experience life without golden parachutes. We're still family, Mom tried. Are we? I raised an eyebrow. Funny how that only matters when you need my foundation's billions. Speaking of family. I checked my watch. I believe your retirement party guests are waiting for an explanation. The color drained from their faces as they remembered the ballroom full of elite witnesses to their downfall. Don't worry, I added. The staff table has an excellent view of the stage. Perfect for watching corporate empires fall. 3 months later, Mitchell Industries was unrecognizable. The executive floor had been converted into an innovation lab, the private dining room transformed into a collaborative workspace. Employee satisfaction had soared while costs dropped. I stood in my office at Aurora Foundation watching the sunrise over San Francisco. On my desk, magazines proclaimed the success. Corporate Revolution, How a Foundation Changed Silicon Valley, and Mitchell Industries, a model of ethical business. Ms. Mitchell. My assistant appeared. Time for the quarterly board meeting. And, your family is here. I checked the security feed. Mom, Catherine, and Tom waited in the reception area, looking different from the proud executives they'd been at the retirement party. Catherine wore business casual instead of designer labels. Mom's perfect coiffure had given way to a simpler style. The latest numbers? I asked. Mitchell Industries stock up 40% since the restructuring. Employee retention at record highs. The new clean energy patents are revolutionizing the industry. She paused. And Catherine's performance in her new position is surprisingly good. I nodded. My sister had discovered hidden talents once stripped of her executive privileges. Now working in project management, she actually contributed value. Send them in, I said, taking my seat at the simple but elegant desk. No mahogany power symbols here. Aurora Foundation believed in substance over show. They entered cautiously, the swagger of corporate royalty replaced by hard-earned humility. The quarterly reports are impressive, I began before they could speak. Would you like to hear them? They nodded silently. Employee healthcare costs down 60%. Innovation output up 80%. And, I smiled slightly, the staff cafeteria reports high satisfaction with their new executive customers. Catherine flushed. You were right. About everything. I never knew our employees' struggles until I became one. Amazing what happens when you remove the golden towers, I noted. Mom, how's retirement? She twisted her hands in her lap. Different than planned. But, better. I'm volunteering at the Foundation's STEM education program. Teaching kids about finance. Real finance, not just profit chasing. And the company? Tom asked quietly. Thriving, I replied. Turns out ethical business is good business. The market loves companies that value people. My phone buzzed. Another corporation wanting to implement our model. Aurora Foundation had become the blueprint for corporate transformation. We've been thinking, Catherine said carefully, about power, about privilege, about what really matters. 3 months is excellent reflection time, I acknowledged. The period since the retirement party had changed everyone. Your foundation, Mom spoke up. It's not just charity, is it? It's about systemic change. Finally figured that out? I smiled. While you were counting bonuses, I was building a vehicle for real transformation. Every little donation was strategic. The patents, Tom realized. The investments. You were playing the long game. Someone had to, I replied. Silicon Valley needed a revolution. I just provided the leverage. My phone lit up with another alert. Mitchell Industries' new worker-developed technology had received regulatory approval. We were wrong, Mom said softly. Not just about you but about everything. Success isn't about corner offices and stock options. No, I agreed. It's about impact. Real, measurable human impact. The project team, Catherine added hesitantly. The one I'm working with now. We're developing educational software for underserved communities. It feels meaningful, I supplied. Different from maximizing shareholder value. She nodded, eyes bright. The foundation is expanding, I said after a moment. Our educational initiatives need experienced coordinators. Interest in a permanent position, Mom? Real work, no titles or perks. Her face lit up. Yes. Please. And the software project? I turned to Catherine. It has potential. Submit a proper proposal, through normal channels. No family favors. Thank you, she whispered, for showing us a better way. My assistant appeared at the door. The board is ready. And the children's coding class is asking if you're still teaching this afternoon. I smiled. My favorite part of the week. Of course. Tell them to prepare their projects. You teach coding? Tom asked, surprised. Every week. Leaders should nurture future talent, not hoard knowledge. As they stood to leave, I added, family dinner on Sunday. At the Mitchell Industries cafeteria. The food is excellent now that we pay our kitchen staff fairly. They nodded, understanding the continued lesson. Oh, and Catherine? I called as they reached the door. That educational software proposal? Make sure it's accessible to all schools, not just wealthy districts. That's how real change happens. After they left, I walked to the window looking out at the city we were helping transform. Below, employees entered Mitchell Industries. No more class divisions, just people working together for something better.